What's up everyone, Lex DeVille here, and in this video we are going to cover words to avoid, specifically 5 words to avoid when writing your proposals, and you will want to avoid these words at all costs. And if you don't avoid these words, probably not going to get the gig. So if that's something you want to know, stick around. Hey minions, if you're new to the channel and you like what I have to say, then be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell so you never miss a video. Only do this if you like what I have to say and if you want to hear more about freelancing, entrepreneurship, and personal world domination. For those who don't know me, I'm Lex DeVille, and on this channel we help you escape corporate prison and build a freelance empire. Share lots of freelance tips and tutorials, so if you're new, consider subscribing. In our most recent video, we talked about matching the client's tone and style in your proposal. So that is writing your proposal in a way that matches their energy level and matching the energy style that they're putting off. If they are using a lot of exclamation points, you're using a lot of exclamation points. If they're not using any exclamation points, then neither are you. You want to match that. Well, you know what? If you want to know what's going to be in our next video, and it's going to be a good topic, watch until the end, all the way until the end, the very end. We got some interesting stuff to talk about today, though, and that is 5 words that you should avoid using at all costs in your proposals. And we can kind of talk a little bit about the history of that before we get into it. So for those of you who don't know my background, I have some background in hypnotherapy, and I'm a certified Ericksonian hypnotherapist, also known as a conversational hypnotherapist. And that doesn't really mean anything other than that I have training in how to work with language in order to guide attention where I want it to go. Kind of like your attention is on my hand or my eyes right now, or maybe it's on those eyes down there. It's in one of those places almost certainly. But my eyes are up here, friend. Whenever you are using words, the mind picks up on the words that you use in different ways, and depending on where you put pauses, depending on the words that you use, those words can really stick in the mind. And if you use the wrong words for your proposals, then you're not going to get hired. So that's what this is about. We want to use the exact right words for your clients, and we want to avoid words that are going to scare them away. If you have been through any of my past training, or maybe if you watch these videos long enough, then you know about the 3 C's. That is that we have to make clients feel confident that you are competent as a freelancer so that they will feel comfortable moving forward with you. That is our ultimate goal. And part of getting the clients to feel comfortable with you is not scaring them away by using the wrong words. So we're going to go ahead and dive in with word number 1, which is cost. Man, cost. This is one that freelancers use all the time too. So cost as in it will only cost X amount of time. It will only cost you X amount of dollars to work with me. It will cost you practically nothing to hire me. All of these variations are words that you want to avoid. You want to avoid the word cost, because when you talk about cost, you start putting the client's mind on how much money they're going to spend. So that's where you're directing their attention, is to money, is to what they're losing. We don't want to talk about what the client is losing. We're here to help them gain something. I mean, usually when clients hire freelancers, it's because they're hiring somebody who is going to help their business grow so that they can make money, so that they can keep money, save money, have money in their business, not lose money, not cost. So what are you going to say instead? You are going to not talk about cost at all. Just avoid it. Avoid whatever phrase that you've got that you think that you need the word cost for. Axe it. Get rid of it. It's no longer part of your proposal. Let's move on to word number 2, which is hate. We don't want to say the word hate. If you hate my work, I'll give your money back. If you hate my work, then you don't have to pay. If you hate my writing, then I'll fix it, or whatever you want comes after that. No variation of hate. We don't want to talk about hate. We don't want to put hate in the client's mind. They are going to be in a frustrated state mentally, and it's just not a positively charged word. It is a negatively charged word. You can feel it. Even the word, just saying the word hate out loud, has a negative connotation. All the things that are associated with the word hate are bad and negative and not things that you want to put in the client's mind. So what are you going to say instead? Well, if you were talking about, let's say it comes to money back. If you hate my work, I'll give your money back. You might say something like, if you're anything less than 100% satisfied, I'll give you your money back. And that one's a good one to use because when you say the words 100% satisfied, that's what sticks in the client's mind. That's what you're putting into the client's head. If you're anything less than 100% satisfied, those two things, because there's a number, it kind of stands out to the client, the 100% and then satisfied. That's what we want them to feel already up front before they've even worked with us. The other one I have is if you don't love it completely, then it's free. And where this is going to stick in the client's mind is if you don't. So don't is a word that gets negated in the mind. We don't really pay attention to that word. Subliminally, we pay attention to the command. So if you don't love my work completely, and the subliminal command there is to love it completely, or love my work completely, however you want to say that. That would be a much better way than saying if you hate my work. If you don't love my work completely, then you don't have to pay. Of course, you might want to avoid saying the pay word because that gets back to the cost and money issue. So let's keep on going here. By the way, if you want a whole list of words to avoid, there's a link in the description. I'll put that down there, and it's going to take you to a list of words that I never use when I'm writing proposals. There's a whole bunch of them, and you just don't want to use any of these words or try to find other ways like what I'm showing you here so that you can work around those words in creative ways and ways that are going to be more fulfilling for the client. So that's down in the description if you want that list of words. Number 3, others. So this would specifically be referring to, sorry, my camera keeps adjusting focus. I don't know, I gotta fix that. Compared to other freelancers, so others or other, compared to other freelancers, this is practically a steal. Or other copywriters focus too much on X, whatever X is. You don't want to use either of those because now we're planting the thought of others in the client's mind where maybe that wasn't before. What we want this client to do is stay focused on us and focused on us as the expert here. We don't want them thinking about other experts or other people's approaches, because if we get them thinking about other people and their approaches, they might just go exploring those other people and their approaches, and we want them to stay with us right here, focused on us, focused on our solution, focused on how we can help them better than anyone else. So what we are going to do is we are not going to rephrase this one. We are just not going to talk about other people at all, because if you talk about other people, other freelancers, other copywriters, whatever it is, then that is going to position you in a way that's going to end up sending them running for other people. Like, let me look at the other people before I make my decision. We don't want that. All right, number 4, this is going to be risk. We don't want to talk about risk. And it's funny because this one gets tied in with some of the other ones all the time. I actually see this one a lot. So there's absolutely no risk to you. You tell the client that, but the client has to decide that for themselves, first of all. And now because you said the word risk, they're thinking about risk. So that is one that you definitely need to avoid. Another example of this would be to make sure there's no risk for you. I'll give your money back if you hate it. So now we're doubling. Sometimes these words get compounded. We already said the word hate. Or to make sure there's no risk for you, it will cost you nothing if you hate my work. Now you've put a whole bunch of ideas here that we don't want. We've got risk, we've got cost, we've got if you hate my work, all of these. And there's even a command in there to hate my work. So you've got to avoid all of those things. But with risk, you can reframe this one. You can kind of twist the words around a little bit to make it better for the client. So if I was going to do this, I would say to help us both feel completely comfortable, let's have a trial project to make sure we're a match. There's 2 commands in there. Could you find them? Let's start with the first one. To help us both feel completely comfortable, let's have a trial project to make sure we're a match. Those are the 2 commands. Feel completely comfortable and make sure we're a match. Those aren't just suggestions about how we should work together. Those aren't just me qualifying the client or saying that we're on equal playing field. It's also a subliminal command. The mind is picking up on these things when they read your proposal, and it's just kind of sticking there. So we're also reframing away from the word risk. We're telling them to feel comfortable. We're not saying there's anything risk. Risk is anxiety inducing. Risk is terrifying. We want you to feel comfortable. And of course, that goes back to the 3 C's: confident, competence, and comfort. We want them to feel comfortable. Let's make sure we're a match. They're going to make sure that they're a match too by having a trial project with you. Number 5. Let's say number 5. And this last one is one of my favorites. It's something I don't see as often, but I do see it a lot from freelancers who send proposals to me. So number 5 is the word impossible. As a freelance client, I never want to hear this word, and this isn't about the subliminal suggestions or anything like that. This is just the word impossible tells me everything about your mindset, because me as a client, I don't believe that anything's impossible. I don't think that you can actually prove things are impossible. I think that you can only prove things possible. Everything is impossible until it is not. So if you are the freelancer who comes to me and you say, what you're trying to accomplish is impossible, I'm going to know right away that you're not the right person for me. You're not the person who I'm going to hire. If you say, I'm sorry, but what you're asking for is impossible, or if you say, this approach is impossible, but I can give you this other thing instead. None of that works for me. You have to avoid this word. There is no alternative way to approach this word. You don't want to be the person who says, I can't, or this is impossible, or anything like that. Either you are the person who can make this thing happen for the client, or you aren't. And if you aren't, then you shouldn't be applying to this gig. So do not say the word impossible. Avoid it, because every time that you say impossible, something is impossible, especially something that the client already believes is possible. Because if they didn't believe it was possible, they wouldn't be hiring someone to do it in the first place. They wouldn't be putting a job post out there to say, how do we do this? Or I need somebody who can do this thing. They already believe it's possible. So you have to believe it's possible. And then even if you're not sure how you're going to make it happen, you have to be the kind of person who says, I'll make it happen. And then you find a way. And then even if you have to adjust some things along the way, that's fine. You want to get the response. Of course, that's always the first goal of a proposal. So be the person who will find a way for them, and be the person who will make it happen, get that response. And then once you start working together, maybe you have to adjust some things along the way to make something easier. Recently, I've been developing a game, and it is a game that'll be available to freelancers soon. And I'm not developing it myself. I have freelancers developing it for me. And so I told them, here's how I want it to work. Here's the things that I want to happen. And they did everything they could to make it work the way I wanted. Well, when I got the design back and I started playing around with it, and they gave me some suggestions for how it might work better, I said, you know what? I think that's right. I think that your way would work better than what I'm trying to do here. My way isn't working quite the way I thought it would. So now we're going with their way. And they got money from me for the way I wanted to do it, and they got money from me for the way they wanted to do it. And their way is being implemented now, and I think it's going to work much better. So sometimes it's just a matter of getting momentum, but you have to start from a place of not saying the words that are going to scare clients away from you in the first place, because that first goal of your proposal is just to get a response. And then once you get that first response, that's the baby step. That's the first step forward. Then you can take the client off in different directions and guide them along the way, which is what we're already doing with the words in our proposal. So I hope that that has been super helpful for you. Those 5 are very good lessons, I think. Very good words to avoid. Again, we've got that link in the description to a whole list of words that you can avoid if you want to have a better chance to get response for your proposals. In the next video, I'm going to reveal a big proposal secret. Not proposal secret, profile secret. No, it is a proposal secret, I guess. So we'll reveal a big proposal secret upcoming, and you can be thinking about that. Until next time, I'm Lex DeVille. Thank you so much for watching. Join us in Discord. That's also in the description down below, the link if you want to join us there. See you next time.